So today, uh, I'm going to be talking about silver. Again, I have no background in finance. I have no qualifications, so don't take anything I say as gospel. But I'm just a dude who's just observing the market like everyone else, and I'm going to give you my opinion, and then you can hear it and see what you think. So I'm looking at silver. I'm I don't have any silver, to be honest. If I'm thinking about buying some silver soon. And if I do, when I buy my first silver coin, I'll make a video about it on this channel because I think that'd be really cool to own my first silver coin. I'm going to buy an ounce of it, an ounce coin. As far as I'm aware, as far as I know, when you buy CGT free silver or gold, because it's considered legal tender, it's considered a currency, you're not going to pay tax on it. Although you can sell it and make a profit on it with money, with fiat money, like normal currency, like the pound or dollar. I think the whole idea of gold and silver is, you're stacking it, and although you may need to sell some now and then because you need money, you need fiat money. The idea is like, I think it's like a nice safe haven, as like if the currency was to collapse, you would have silver and gold, which would still be considered as a different form of currency than like the pound, and you would be able to use that to trade for things like, and people would say like that's a conspiracy. Some people would think that's like a conspiracy theory that the dollar would collapse or the pound. I could see that because we've had it a long time, but there's a history of things collapsing, and if like the dollar and pound loses value every year due to inflation. The more they print money, the less valuable the money becomes. So it's a way to store your value as well, because the more they print money, the more gold and the silver goes up because you need more of the dollars or pounds to buy it. I think they're going to be using it a lot in data centers. I think we use them a lot in electrical vehicles. I think there's all sorts of uses we have for it in the world, and I think there's like a reflection of it. Like if you look at the chart recently, because silver, it wasn't doing much for a long time. Then you had like this spike in 2011. It went back down. Little spikes along the way, not doing much. I think this is what puts people off buying silver, because people have been buying it. Maybe they're like, oh, if they're just looking to make money quickly, they're like, oh, silver never does anything. It's just sitting around, never making any money on it. But I think it's a good like hedge against inflation, and a safe way to store your money. And I think if you look, like, obviously remember this big spike. If we go back down to like a smaller chart here, like maybe just go to a year, we all remember like this big spike we had recently with silver. When this chart loads, I struggle to keep track of time sometimes, but if we look back in like, July, August 2025, silver was still worth like 27, and then we had this huge ramp in 2026 January. I'm saying £85 here, but is this an ounce? Because I swear, from my memory, I remember silver going to like £120 an ounce, but I could be wrong. This chart's saying £88. But the main point I'm trying to make is we finally got some activity in silver, and I don't think that activity was the reason I think that activity is happening is because, well, I just think there's going to be a lot more demand for silver. I think we're going to be using a lot more when we go into this age of like AI, building like data centers, building like a lot of electric cars, like a lot more people using electric cars nowadays, but like robotics and, these huge AI centers where they need all these like chips and yeah. But like all these connections that use silver, because silver is a great conductor of electricity. So I believe like this is just like a sneak peek view of like what's going to be happening. I can't claim to know when, but silver, it's not been doing much for many, many years. But I think the way the world's going, there's going to be obviously I don't know when it will happen, but I think there's going to be a big rally in silver, and I don't think it's going to be that long. Like I'm going to start investing in it now. And if you look at like the silver to gold ratio that I've got here, once upon a time, back in the 80s, silver was the ratio of like how it was compared to gold was a lot better. So in terms of gold, it wasn't the kind of, how do I say it, like the percentage difference wasn't as big compared to like, because now if we look at silver and gold, like an ounce of gold is like 3,000. I could buy an ounce of gold for 3,200, but an ounce of silver costs hardly anything at the moment. Like it's like £60. Yeah, see, like here, an ounce of silver is like £60, and it was like £62 when I was like about an hour ago, I think, and it's gone up like £1, and like it was worth like 50, 55, I think, like a couple of days ago. Because treating it's having some action at the moment. It's like it's some small bit of like movement, but yeah, there's been these spikes along the way of like silver compared, like in its comparison to gold, the ratio in terms of like, yeah, it's been like going up in terms of like the percentage of its value compared to gold. And we had that huge spike recently, and I'm going to be buying a book to learn and read more about silver. But I'm pretty confident in it, and I know there's a lot of people stacking it, a lot of people confident in it. I'm feeling pretty good about it as an investment. I don't think it's like, that good of an investment that I wouldn't diversify and put it in other things, but it's one of those investments where I feel like I wouldn't have to question, like have to keep an eye on it and be like, oh, is this going to possibly lose value and stuff? And even though it could go down, I have enough confidence in it in the long term where I think I could just buy it and just be like, yeah, one day I'm going to be able to sell this for like 5 times the value or 10 times the value. So I'm just going to stack a load of this stuff, I think. I think silver really is one of those long-term investments where you're not trying to make quick money on it, but you're thinking like, yeah, this thing is undervalued a lot, and I'm going to sell this one day. And I've been watching these people, watch YouTube videos where people can just like, they can take silver around the world and they can just trade the silver in. Like they go to another country, they take the silver with them, and then they trade it in, and then they can like help like fund that day of like groceries or that day out of like with that ounce of silver they're paying for their day out. So I seen one guy doing that on YouTube, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm going to be making this channel about looking at investments, assets, like I said, like looking at the news and updates and kind of just looking at the price of like silver, gold, maybe stocks, maybe even crypto, but all different types of investments, because I'm going to diversify. Like I said, I spent the I've spent like made a lot of mistakes in my 20s. I spent a lot of time kind of flipping stuff, which I made a lot of money on, and I definitely agree with flipping. But I want to start to build a portfolio, because I think the currencies are going to crash with how much the how much the government is like printing money. But Yeah, no, I think the whole thing with AI, I think it's way overhyped, and although I think AI, robotics will eventually change the world, I think it's one of those things where we're pumping way too much money into it, and it's going to have very negative consequences because AI and robotics at the moment, although it's helping in some ways, it's not as like amazing as it's hyped up to be. Like we have freaking robots doing showcases of robots, and they fall over or literally, have you seen the ones where like it kicks a kid in the stomach or it kicks someone or malfunctions and then like yeah um I think there will be an AI bubble pop, and then I think the in the long term the real technology that helps will come out. But yeah, I'm just rambling on, but yeah, it's basically I just wanted to let you know what this channel is going to be about, what I'm going to be doing with this channel now, and yeah, I like silver. I think it's a good investment. Not financial advice for you to do it, but I'm just sharing my observations on it, and I'm going to be sharing on the channel when I buy some. So when I do buy my first ounce of silver, I'll make a video updating it on the channel.